Lee's in Cleveland, Ohio. Lee, your question about family business drama.
Hi, Dave and John. It's an honor to speak to both of you.
You too.
I am the founder and CEO of an IT managed services company in Northeast Ohio. So we do about 1.1 million in revenue with a team of 4, including myself. And I've actually had the privilege of going through the Entre Master Series twice. Did the first time in 2008 and again in 2013, and it was an amazing experience.
Thank you.
So I do appreciate that. So I jump into my question here. So I think the overarching thing I'm trying to figure out here is how to be fully present, and what John was talking about here is spot on here. Trying to be fully present both at work and at home without causing friction in the marriage while still being an effective business leader. So I want to give you a little bit of background before we dive into that. So I started this business 21 years ago when I was 17, and right out of high school, I went full time. And through my 20s, I very routinely worked 12, 14-hour days to keep things moving. But when I was 31, I got married. We adopted a 7-year-old daughter. That's a whole new dimension added to life. So now I'm 38. Daughter's 14. We've got a 4-year-old son, and I've got a baby girl due in about 2.5 weeks.
Yay!
So, well, I thank you. We're just trying to. What I'm trying to do is I want to be the best business leader I can be, but more importantly, I want to be the best husband and father I can be. And I'm struggling to find that balance, if you know what I mean.
I think the word that would guide every minute of every day is intentionality. Mm-hmm. And I think we try to do it all at the same time, and we try to do it as best we can at the same time, and you can't. And so it's about being intentional. And I think the fallacy here is you can't work 20-hour days during certain seasons and be a good dad. That's simply not true.
Right.
But you have to have talked about it with your wife. You have to have set it up to where on the other end of that wild season, it's got a payoff, right? It's not this never-ending treadmill. Dave and his team, I've watched it in real life. I tell the story. This is a real story. Dave had left a meeting. We had all the personalities right when I got here. And, his daughter Rachel Cruz is a personality. Well, Dave left. And I don't remember what we were talking about. It was something, but it wasn't hot, but it definitely was we knew where Dave stood on an issue. Dave left, and Rachel said, "Can you believe Dave, fill in the blank?" And I looked at her, and I was like, I'm new here. She set me up. Like, don't respond, John, right? Because I didn't want to be like, yeah. I didn't know what to do, right? And she's like, I'm going to tell Dave at our next meeting that this and this. Well, then, a few months later, fast forward, we're all out at Dave's home. And it was a friend. Everyone was hanging out. It wasn't work. It was everyone was laughing, carrying on. And she called him Dad. And that's when I started getting, there is Dave at work and there is Dad at home. We are intentional about this relationship here and intentional about this relationship here. In my life, the first book I wrote here for Ramsey Solutions, #1 bestseller, did great. I was not intentional about it. I tried to do my day job and be a parent and be a husband and write a book on top of that. The second book was way bigger, way busier, but my marriage ended up stronger on the back end because we were so intentional about what that looked like on the front end.
Yeah, so be where you is.
There you go.
When you're at work, be at work 100%. And unless your 14-year-old has an emergency, she doesn't interrupt work.
And you have to have that conversation.
By the way, the number of times in 35 years that Sharon Ramsey called me on the telephone during the day, I can count on my hands in 30 years. Now, she might send me an email knowing I can respond whenever I want because she didn't want to forget about it or to let me know to bring something home or something like that. But if Sharon Ramsey calls here, it's an emergency.
There you go.
Because it doesn't happen. Because when I'm at work, I work. Oh, and by the way, when I'm at home, don't call me at home.
There you go.
I'm not, don't bother me at home. The only people that can bother me at home are the publicity people because I got to be down here at 4 o'clock in the morning to do some media hit, and they're sending me notes the night before.
Right.
But that's by email. The only time they call me by phone is if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and they canceled and didn't want me to come down here. That kind of stuff, right? But I mean, this is how we don't, it's just assumed that when I'm at home, I'm at home.
Right.
And when I'm at home, I'm Dad. And when I'm here, I'm Dave.
But there's also a fallacy that if I get home, that I can still be effective at work and I can be effective. You have to be willing to draw that line.
Put the stupid phone down.
There you go.
Close the computer.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you want to be present with your family, Netflix is not involved.
There you go.
Turn off your television. Be present with the 14-year-old. Look in her eyes. She's adopted. She really needs you to look in her eyes and remind her that she's the center of your universe. She has a new little sister coming. She needs to be reminded that she's still valued in this family.
There you go.
And that's physical touch and eyes and all. None of that happens while you're looking at your phone.
Right.
Throw your stupid phone in a basket and throw a brick through your TV and be present when you're home. Entrepreneurs, and that'll go a long, long way towards that. Today, Dr. John Deloney, PhD in counseling, is helping us with family business questions. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.